All right, everybody, welcome. Kobra here, and it is Friday. Time for a Friday Bitcoin update and analysis. I'm still feeling a little bit under the weather, but got to stick to it. Crypto's 24/7. Crypto never sleeps. But I don't trade on weekends, so that's going to be my time to rest this week. So let's go ahead and get into it right now. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of do this off the cuff real quick. You guys know that I've been kind of hesitating and waiting a little bit to go ahead and just label this zone here. That's been a lot newer, I guess you could say. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do right now is I'm gonna go ahead and give you what I think is probably the best count that I can come up with. I'm going to do this on the fly right here. So clearly we have an impulse here. I mean, I definitely have this as a leg one of something. This is definitely the start of some kind of impulse upwards. The only way that this get invalidated is, of course, if we go somewhere, below here, which obviously I really don't think is happening. So I am going to stick to being a little bullish on this, obviously, but let's go ahead and draw this count out right now, right while I'm here, right? So let's go ahead, bring up my bar. So I'm really thinking, obviously, since this is a one, that we've got an impulse here, right? So on the even lower time frame, let's go down to a 1 hour so that we can really see these bars in here. Go down to a 1 hour, stretch this out just a bit, see these bars a little better. Sorry, my chart's like all over the place. All right, so what it looks like is that we've got, this would be the 0 into a 1 down into a 2. So let's go ahead and just start labeling these, right? This on just for now. Got 1 here, got 2 here. Looks like we've got about 3 here, 4 here. Then 5 is going to be up here where we end. Obviously this is this degree is too big. Let me just real quick. Just do a minor. Actually, let's do a minute. I think my last minute one orange. So let's go ahead and orange. I haven't done any labeling in quite some time. I normally wait for quite a bit of price action to take place until I start going ahead and just labeling shit, because otherwise you just end up labeling things like a whole bunch of times, right? You end up just going back, labeling it again, deleting it, going back, labeling it again, like every time something gets invalidated or whatever. So I like to have like a good solid basis to base my next decisions on and stuff. So let's go ahead and shorten this up a little bit, go down to like a 2 hour. Okay, so now we've got this 5 as an impulse wave, right? So obviously we've got to correct somehow. What I really think is happening is that off of this major, larger correction, I'm gonna go ahead and say that this is probably an A down here, and then it looks like we're gonna have some more complex, like a 5 wave B, like a triangle B, which is, well, although rare, it does happen. It is allowed. I did double check the rules on that. So doing that is allowed. So I'm thinking that off of this is probably like an A, B, C, maybe up here, and then probably like a D, E or something right here to finish this off. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go. Oops. Wrong one. All right, go ahead and do that. So starting from here, it would have to start from here, and then this would be this would be a separate correction. This would just be the larger A, B, C wave down here. So this would be an sorry, and I'm already messing up. Sorry, I'm very sick. I'm very tired. Things happen. So if this is an A of a larger correction, so and this was a B, then this would be an A, B, C, D, E here. And I'll go ahead and draw some trend lines for you so that you guys can kind of see what's going on in my brain right here. But give me a second while I go ahead and do this real quick. And then obviously an ABC, a larger correction would start from here. This would be our A. And then our B would actually be up here where our C wave is, or E wave, sorry, excuse me. And then our C wave obviously would be down here where our wave 2 is. So let's go ahead and minor is the next one up. White is the color. Let's take the wave off of that. And okay. So now what I think is happening here is in this B wave, obviously, it's really, really obvious, and this is just really obvious that this is a triangle or some kind of channel here, right? I mean, if we start drawing trend lines on this, I mean, you can't get really more obvious, right? I mean, for real, you know, like let's take our trend lines here, and oh my God, what do you know? It's, you know, a fucking, you know, falling wedge. It doesn't really get much more easy to see than that, in my opinion. This is pretty obvious. I will go ahead and all of these actually touching the bottom of the candles. The magnet tool is terrible of it. Keep our 2 down here for now. Okay, so now continuing with our count, right? So if this is our C leg, then obviously there's that's considered an impulsive part of the correction, right? So that would be a 5-wave sequence. So let's go ahead and we're gonna go ahead and label our 5-wave sequence here. So now this is where there's been a lot of debate over what the actual count is here. And what I'm seeing is that this right here from our E wave would be a 1. This would be R2 at the top. And then this is obviously an impulsive leg. So I have that as a 3, this correction into the 4, which does not violate. It is in wave 1 territory. However, it doesn't come into wave 2. So that is valid. And then obviously this would be our wave 5 down here. So we'll do one of these. So as it stands right now, we do look like we're pivoting. Even on a 4-hour chart here, we are starting to see some bullish momentum coming out of this 618 zone. And there's a lot of things going on with these zones down here that are very, very, very important to notice. And me and the other chartists from the group, we were going over this privately as a staff today. And there's a lot of things going on here. One of the things that I noticed, and I'm going to pull out onto a daily chart for this, is if you do a fib pull from this top to our very bottom, let me actually go ahead. I'm going to bring up a clean chart to do this on. So if you bring a fib pull from our all-time high here, right, to our bottom, some of these levels are, you know, these are very, very important. Actually, this is the wrong top and bottom. I meant last year's top and bottom. So let's go ahead and go to, where's Brave New Coin? I thought I had it. Yeah, let's go to the Brave New Coin, and right. So we'll do this on a weekly chart. All-time high, not our last high, our all-time high. From top to bottom is, I mean, we hit this zone absolutely perfectly here. I really don't think that that's coincidence. And now if you pull from low to top here, we're literally like, technically we've, you know, we've missed it by what, like fucking $20 or something. Like it's a very, very, very minimal amount. So if this is our pivot here, and on the weekly chart, we're looking at this and saying, holy crap, from here to here, boom, we're hitting another golden zone. So where is it on the way up then, right? So, if we want to hit golden zone on the way up, that's up here. That's, about 11,500 or so. That is, no surprise here, our exact resistance from our first move up. So is this all coincidence? No, on these major moves like this, I really don't think that this is coincidence. I think that this is algorithmic trading. This is trading bots. These are financial traders. These are institutional players that just use these as their algorithms. They go from 0.5 to 618. Just like in a couple of videos ago, I explained and showed many examples. I think it was either the last video or the week before that, where I went through and I was like, hey, guess what? In the middle of bull runs, normally we correct between the 0.5 and 618 if it is, in fact, the continuation of a bull run. That's exactly what we've done here. We pivoted very nicely off of this bottom, and now we're starting to continue our way up. We had our first little correction, and we're correcting from this next move a little bit, and we should be moving up from here. Now, will we move up from here? Well, let's go ahead and reverse this. Where would our target be for the upside on this? Well, it's way up here at about $20,000, where our last all-time high was. That to me makes total perfect sense. That's exactly where my wave 3 extension would be, is way up here. So let's go back to my other chart real fast. That's the first thing that I wanted to show you. If we come back down here to like a daily chart, or was it on, I think it's on this one. So a couple of things that I noticed is this is our fib pull, right, from our last major $3,000 move. And this is another very important thing that I want to explain really quickly, is if you measure this, and I know that everything is not about fibs and all of that stuff, right? You measure fibs from here bottom to here our top, and boom, yes, we are in the golden zone. Now, this other measurement that I have here with this random 0 measurement up here is actually not random at all. That's actually the top on the CME futures chart, and it stands exactly at, I don't remember what the exact number was, exactly at $8,959, and our bottom, which is down here, is the same at 73.01. So all of this price action right here was CME gap, or the majority of it. I think up to here, like the 113 or something, was where there was actual candle resistance, but basically all of this was just gap here. And everybody says that the CME gap is a meme. Oh, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. Well, sure enough, even though everybody's claiming that these gaps are filled, sure enough, we get very, very volatile price action when we get near these zones. So what I thought was very important to notice here is off of this major move up, if you look at if you're looking for confluence, especially Fibonacci level confluence, which is very important to get a really good picture of where support and resistance zones are, we have absolutely major support down here where I highlighted this box, and that's between the 786 of this larger pull on the regular chart, and that's the golden pocket of the CME chart. So I thought that that was very interesting here. Now, this isn't to say that the CME chart didn't go up higher. This is to the bottom of the gap here. This is where the bottom of the gap closed. The top of the gap was somewhere up here or whatever, just like this, and we're still hovering around the same price. But this was where the gap started, and then it stopped like here or up here or something. So I thought that that was very important to notice. And we also have confluence with the 236, right, of this smaller pull from the futures chart is lining up perfectly, almost on top of our 618, our golden zone of our larger pull on the regular chart. So I thought that this was very interesting because right now we're just kind of hovering around in this area. And yes, I know the daily chart, oh my God, it's looking bullish. Oh, everything's going down. Our oscillator might flip over to, to the negative side under the zero line. And oh no, like you've got all these things that are just screaming, bearish. And like I get that, oh, look, we've rejected the bottom of the cloud. We can't make it into the cloud. Like, the 200 EMA, it's coming up on the daily. What if we lose support? Well, if we lose support here, then, we'd probably be coming down into that area that I just mentioned, which is down around here between, somewhere. I don't think that 7850 is actually my stop loss for a long-term play, but I really think I'm laddering positions all the way down to about 8,000. So, that's where I really think that support is. Now, if we come back to our other chart, this is just indicators and momentum indicators and price action and Ichimoku and stuff like that telling us. But from what Elliott wave tells us, if we come down here to like a 4-hour chart, and let me go ahead and turn off my Ichimoku cloud because it gets too confusing. What our 4-hour chart tells us is that we've bottomed very nicely on these indicators here. We are making on the 4-hour chart very significant bullish divergence here. This is very, very obvious now. It's been happening for a while. This is the basis for why a lot of people are saying that we're going to start working our way upwards. Even though that we've had a dip, we're making higher lows here. And we're making lower lows, obviously, here. We've been in this channel, right? So, that's also pretty damning evidence that this could very well be a pivot. But I mean, nothing is for certain, right? I mean, especially in Bitcoin, nothing is ever for certain. Okay. And I know that this looks a little confusing. For my longer term charts, I use a slightly modified RSI. But basically this top is, you can see I just put extra lines at 60 and 40 because normally those levels act as support and resistance in terms of how the indicator works. But that's a lesson for another time. But anyway, what, let's, 1 hour. So basically what Elliott wave can tell us is that we have a lot of options here, right? I mean, there's a lot of things that could be happening, and I didn't actually even finish doing this count because technically there's another ABC in here, and go ahead and I already drew that. Didn't I draw? I just not. Okay, for some reason it's only visible on my 4-hour chart. I'm gonna have to okay, there we go. Anyway, so we've got our ABC off of the one, and this is assuming that we have bottomed here. Now, if you're a technical trader, I think that this is probably what you're looking for. Right off of a red candle, we're getting these dojis. We've bounced off of. Now, keep in mind when I drew this, I didn't line this up with this candle. I lined this up with this candle back here. Okay, with where our 3 wave is. I lined it up with here, and we're bouncing off of that really, really perfectly. I mean, if we want to be super crazy accurate with it, you can just take your ray line and turn your magnet on and just go from here to here, and boom, there you go. You can see clearly how well that lines up. I'll go ahead and do it for the top just for giggles. Go ahead, this one or whatever. Boom, we're abiding by these lines very perfectly. That tells me that big money, big algo traders and stuff like that, they know that this is happening as well. This is what smart money is also seeing. I'm not saying that I'm super smart money. I mean, I get trades wrong all the time, but so do whales. Whales aren't right every single time. It just does not work that way. In trading, there comes risk. So looking at these plays here, looking at this play, what I want to say is that going long here, and putting a stop somewhere. If you were going to go long here, I would definitely have a very tight stop, probably no more than like 80, probably no less than like 83.50. That would be my stop. If we end up getting a close below this this falling wedge here, then yeah, we're going to be in some serious trouble, and we are going to be going down deeper to be testing these levels of 8,000 and 8,200, where my previous support and resistance lines were. Hey, what do you know? This is right at 82.25. Where was my top line at? My top line here is at 8,500. We've actually already tested that, and we're using that as support right now. These candles right here, you can see on the 4-hour chart, this is also very important. I've never moved these lines, by the way. You can go back and look at all my videos. Never move them. We did not close below it. We did not close below it again, and we're not going to close below it in another 30 minutes. This line is extremely, extremely important here. And as soon as we got that second close and we got that above this line, I took that long here. I am already long on this trade. It is very conservative long, because if this works out, we're going to go extremely high. And my first target is $9,000. For the short term. This would be a long-term play. My long-term targets are a lot higher, as you saw from my fib pull. Target, where's wave 3 up here? 1, 2. My 3 is way up here at about 13,000. This would be a very long-term play. This obviously isn't happening by the end of the month, but I do think that with all of this price action that is happening here, this is pretty damning evidence that this could very be a local bottom before we start moving up. But as I said, in terms of this just being a big bull flag now, we have gotten a close below the 618, so that completely invalidates the bull flag. But it does not invalidate this falling wedge until we close below it. And this falling wedge, it just, in Elliott Wave, there's a thing called the right look. And this just has the right look to me. Like, this just, there really isn't any other thing that I've really messed around with that really lines up with all of these ideas. So this is what I'm thinking is going to happen. And obviously nothing is set in stone. If you are going to long here, do like I did, set a very conservative position, no more than 2 to 5% of your portfolio, very small leverage, if any. A spot buy, honestly, would probably just be better here to buy this dip. I'm personally trading this one on leverage with like 2% of my portfolio, and very tight stop, less than a 2% stop. But again, the risk to reward ratio, on a trade like this is immense. Just my first target with my stop loss, what I said, like almost, I guess here, I mean, that's already 5 to 1, and that's just for my first target. My second target is up here. At like $9,600 for the midterm. And all through this, I would be, adding to longs on pullbacks and stuff. This is a position that I plan to be in for a long time. This is something that I really believe in. I believe in this move. And normally when you get one of those good gut feelings that, you really think that it's going to happen, and then it does, if you didn't take that move and you look back at it, it really fucking kills you. It really grinds your gears, that you didn't take the shot. Now, if I get John Wicked out of this, that's all right. It's okay. I'm a technical trader. That's all right. If I get John Wicked, I'll wait until we have to me right now, this looks like a definitive bottom, but at the same time, you have to remember, this looked like a definitive bottom as well. When we got this and we started moving up, after we got this stop hunt and we continued to move up and we went sideways through this, this also looked like a definitive bottom. I really thought that we were going to break through this here. A lot of people did, and then we didn't, and we broke down further. That's just the way that trading goes. To me, though, with in terms of the technicals and the fibs and the Fibonacci level confluence, it's pretty damning evidence that this could very, very well be the end here. And we could be pivoting. I could be wrong. We could be pivoting. Who knows? I might come back, on Monday and be like, holy crap, we dropped all the way down to $8,000 during the weekend when I wasn't trading. But that's pretty much, that's really all that I got for you guys today. I really appreciate you guys tuning in. and catching the analysis every week. That's really all I got for you today. If you like the video, go ahead, give me a thumbs up. If you did not like the video, go ahead, give me a thumbs down and let me know what I can do better in the comments below. Other than that, I hope you all have an amazing weekend. If you're not in a position today and you don't normally trade too much on weekends because you like to get out and spend time with your family like I do, don't enter a position in on a Friday when you know the volume is going to, be slow and stuff, and it's going to die off normally like it does on the weekend. Don't do that. It's not a good idea. Just stay out, wait until Monday, come back, take a look at the charts, get a fresh perspective, or do like I do, bring up a brand new chart, and just look at it totally fresh. No indicators, no Elliott wave counts, nothing. Just look at it totally blank and just look at the price action, maybe throw 1 or 2 MAs on it and see what it says. In terms of MAs, by the way, let me go back real fast. I forgot to mention this. In terms of MAs, go ahead and turn this off. If we're looking at EMAs and stuff right now, we are having kind of a turning point here. And this is one of the only things that actually worries me about where we are, is we're about to have the 50 and the 200 already crossed. And when that did cross, we did have this momentum here. We had shorts taking profit and longs, or shorts or whatever. Some shorts were getting liquidated that decided to short the bottom. We had this little spike up here of liquidations and futures expiries and shit like that. Big bearish candle right here, big bearish hammer. I mean, it's super obvious that it's a bearish candle, and then right after that, bam, we got a big bearish engulfing candle. And now this is where I think that we're pivoting. The reason, and one of the only reasons why I think that this could not be the bottom, is Bitcoin likes to surprise us, as well as we're going to get a 50 and a 100 EMA cross. Probably in 30 minutes, this is going to be, if not in 30 minutes, in like an hour. Let's look at the 2-hour chart. 2-hour chart, it's already crossed. 1-hour chart's already crossed. So yeah, on this 4-hour chart here, it's looking probably either on this candle close or within the next 8 hours, certainly, that this is going to be a cross here. And that's what we're going to have to wait and see what happens. If we do see a lot of momentum and a lot of volume coming into the market, then we could very well just see these kind of touch, maybe get on top of each other and then reverse and not actually cross over. But that's very, very rare. So, nothing says that just because these cross that we're going to move down. I mean, it's just an indicator, the 100, the 200, most people are more concerned about the 50 and the 200, and they're not even using the exponential moving average. They're using just the regular moving average. So, they are calculated different. Later on, as I keep making videos, we are going to be doing an actual edge YouTube. I'm going to start doing all of my videos over there. I'm going to get back to doing tutorials. That's why I've been holding off. I apologize. If you want access to some of my training materials and some of the articles that I've written in my video description down below, there's links to my Medium articles, risk management, portfolio management, all that kind of stuff. So those are always free. And like I said, my DMs are always open. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, always feel free to reach out to me either on Discord or through Twitter DM. And as I said before, if you are trading, definitely make sure it's a very conservative position right here. This is kind of a risky place to enter, but it has a very high reward ratio for that risk. So no risk, no reward. Just make sure that you're protecting yourself from any unnecessary losses. Other than that, have a good weekend and happy trading.